Hello, everybody. Corrections 101 here. Hope everybody's having a great day. I've got a lot of suggestions on reviews to do as a corrections officer based on a lot of videos out there. I don't know if this is going to be copyright struck based on the channel that it's going to be on. So if you want to support this channel, you can do so without YouTube getting its grubby little hands on 30% of what you donate. But if you want to do, my Cash App and PayPal will be in the description. And if not, you being here is just fine. Hit that like, share, subscribe button and everything. Do all the YouTube stuff. And I appreciate you guys just being here. But I got sent this video that I guess was on 23andOne's channel earlier, a couple days ago, I think. Like I said, I have a lot of suggestion videos. I'm going to be doing a lot of recap videos. But I wanted to do one on this one, try to make this short and sweet if we can. So let's get right to it.
Time is 5:30. It's time to go to work now.
And I believe this is Lexington, Kentucky, the sheriff's station jail there. Yep, and just like my jail, right inside where you go into the employee entrance, you're going to have your time clock, and then you're going to have your different mail slots here. That's the first thing you're going to want to check because any report modifications that you need to do, any notices, anything like that, it's going to be in your mail slot. That's the first thing you're going to want to check. Anything really important is going to be in there.
Says responded, employee drawer confiscated and removed. Perimeter.
So in my experience, there's a couple different ways that they do shift changes and shift change briefings. So in the first type is, okay, you do it in person. So let's say a shift change is at 7 a.m. So you show up 15 minutes early and you'll have an in-person debriefing and shift change report of everything happened the previous day by that previous supervisor and staff that was on the previous shift. And they pass it along to you verbally. This is a different kind of debriefing, like like the agency that I'm with now, to where an actual supervisor, the shift before, which I'm on 12-hour shifts. So with us, it's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So the previous supervisor will actually type out a shift report debriefing on everything that happened, usually a couple days in advance, all the way up until when you come on duty. Did this offender not take his meds? Did he take his meds? Were there any physical altercations? Visit cancellations? I mean, it's just, there's a lot of information that we need to know. And lots of times, the smallest of things causes the biggest of problems. So you really want to be tuned in on all the small details on shift changes.
Overlocated near the entrance to the sheriff's parking lot. From the corner bent, unable to straighten by hand.
And this is what they're going to do too. They're going to give all the officers their assignments. So in my correctional facility, it's going to be you're on a rotation. So one day you're on this pod, the next day this pod, the next day this pod, then you're going to be on intake, then you're going to be parking lot duty, then you're going to be master control, and you do this big rotation, and that way you're never stuck in one position every day. But obviously with circumstances that can change, but it kind of mixes up the duties.
For murder, these houses booked in Omax watch. That's a cash and lose. 2 Charlie 7 lost 1 hour wreck, excessive tissue.
So there you see two Sally ports. You're going to have, so what a Sally port is, for those who don't know what they are, it's where law enforcement vehicles bringing in intakes, ambulances, deliveries of, certain instances are brought into the Sally ports. And this one looks like it's a 2x2. So you have 2 Sally ports here, and you can fit 2 law enforcement vehicles in each. So you could fit 4 in there at one time. You're going to typically have a Sally port garage entrance on each side, because especially like this one, to where you can see this police vehicle here, you can fit another one behind it. Obviously, after they get taking in the intake to the jail, they can go ahead and pull out this next garage door out in case there's another police vehicle behind it. So that is what a Sally port is.
Right now it's 5:57. I'm about to go into a Bravo pod right here, take over posts from the officer, and we'll go throughout the day, and I'll explain more and more what I'm doing every time we do something.
Right now, what we're doing is I'm relieving Officer Benson right here. He's going to pass on the events and everything that took place last night.
We got all your equipment here. We got upper coming out today, upper and then lower. Head count of 89. Today is Wednesday, upper and then. We got all your equipment here. We got upper coming out today, upper and then lower. Head count of 89.
So a head count of 89. They're talking about upper and lower coming out. So what that means is that this jail, I can see behind it, there's an upper tier and a lower tier. And so what happens, especially if you have low staffing, one tier will come out for the day, the other tier for the next day, or they can split shifts. So the one tier can come out for 6 hours of the 12-hour shift. The next tier can come out for the next 6 hours. But of course, that's oversimplifying it, because they may come out for, over a 6-hour shift. Let's say they come out for 6 hours. They may be out for 5 hours and a couple of quiet times in there, but they split up the times because it gets very complicated with the population that you have, because some on the upper tier may be of one gang, the lower tier of another gang, or different tiers may be co-defendants. So you want to split them up. You don't want to ever have them having direct contact with each other. So you have to split them up between pods, between tiers, to have the least amount of physical altercations as possible, the less contraband as possible, the lowest amount of informational exchange between gang members, etc. So it's a huge cat and mouse game. You do the best you can to try to divide them up, divide the time out with the pods and tiers.
Today is Wednesday, so you do have uniforms. Your runarounds are Thompson out of 2 and Gettings out of 6. One confinee, which comes off tonight, and everything else is normal.
Okay, so what I see here right off the bat, okay, so you see here, they're called boats. Okay, this offender right here in, I don't know what you would even call that. This is a pod, but maybe number 1, I don't know how these guys operate, how they call it, but you see these boats here on the ground. So that means they are overbooked. They don't have enough cells for the offenders. And so they have to bring out these boats that they can put a mattress in, that they can sleep in, because they are just overcrowded. Obviously, with bringing them out in shifts, seems like they're understaffed and overpopulated.
Mr. Smith.
And these phones here, that could be a problem here because they are so close together. Got to be really confident in who you're having at those phones, because that could, lead to a huge challenge in physical, confrontations.
Williams.
Hey, good morning, Bravo Pod. Again, I'm MCO Ward. We're going to go over what's expected for the day. First of all, whenever we come out for rec, all of our stuff will be in our gray containers before we come out. Beds will be made up. Next off.
So this officer, he's a very straightforward, straight-laced guy, okay? So there's several different ways and personalities that you can deal with pods. And it depends on the personality of the pod, the offenders in the pod, of kind of how you address it. Like in the current facility I'm at, there's some pods that I go in there talking about Bigfoot and UFOs and being a character and being fun because I know that they're not a problem, and that's kind of a way of just kind of maintaining a good culture in that pod. But there's another pod to where I'm going to be like this guy. I'm going to go in there and say, hey, before we knock out these showers for the night, this is how it's going to be. You're going to shut the fuck up. You're not going to be rapping loudly. You're not going to be, being a fool. You're going to get these showers knocked out in the time frame that you're afforded, and that's how it's going to go. I mean, it just depends on the pod. Depends on how everything is going, but it really depends on the population that you're dealing with. But you can tell this guy, he's kind of especially with this population, he's a very straightforward. This is how it is, very vanilla, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on the pod he's dealing with.
Most of y'all been in here for a little while. We got a copy of the inmate rules right there on the wall. I don't think I have to go over all of them, but I will go over the most important ones. Tidiness is the key today. Whenever it's quiet time, we will remain quiet and on our own bunks. That means.
And I like how we threw that in there. The pod rules are on the wall, and that's the thing that you always need to stress with the population is that the thing with inmates is that they're always looking for some way to throw a fit, to challenge authority, and to create a stink. And what do I mean by that? Okay. So let's say the rules are when you're out for shower times, you only have 10 minutes to take a shower before you have to get back in your cell. And let's say you're out there, and of course they know this. They know this because when you go in there, you're given a book of rules. You have to sign off on it, and you've been given the rules. You know what the rules are. But let's say an officer says, okay, well, you can go back up to your cell when you're done. Well, what does that mean? And of course, the offender's going to say, hey, he could say that, he said that I could go up to my cell when I'm done. He never said anything about 10 minutes. And then it creates a huge argument because they're going to argue absolutely everything that they can, and it turns into a big old thing. And so that's why you always got to point to, hey, these are the rules over here. On the pod, we're not dealing with this bullshit today. It is what it is. I like that.
There's no games,
Yep.
No talking, none of that. You will be on your bunks. You can read a book, but that's about it. Other than that, we're going to have a pretty good day in here. We're about to kick off morning cleanup. So any questions?
Very well done by him. Pointing to the rules, saying, hey, and most of us correctional officers, we want to go in there. We just want to have an easy day. We want to have a good day. We want to go in there and crack jokes and have fun with them and everything. We don't want to have a bad day, and that's the thing that offenders don't realize. We're not there just to kick ass and take names. We're not there to create problems. We want to have a good day, and we want to emphasize that we want to have a good day. Let's get through this together. You guys, I know it sucks being locked up. It sucks that we have to be here watching you, but hey, let's just make it happen. Let's have a good day. Let's have a good shift. I like it.
Questions and concerns about this will be addressed during your rec time. If you need any request forms, pencil sharpened, we do it during our rec time. Other than that, the only time you should come up to my podium is unless it's an emergency. Everybody tracking on that? Okay. Hey, at this point in time, we're finishing up a morning cleanup. If you notice, the gates are going to be unsecured.
Morning cleanup at 6:30 a.m. That's early. That is early.
Here during this whole process, the only times these gates stay unsecured is if it's cleanup, count time, and meal time. Other than that, the gates are going to stay secured. And this is a facility we manage by walking around. You got your uniform already? Like I said, just
Yeah, so one of the things you're gonna have to do all the time, you're gonna have to do searches. I mean, it's constantly, whether it's turning up cells, whether it's going through the bathroom areas, the common bathroom areas, the shower rooms. I mean, you're always doing searches. Even after one inmate goes in there and does a search, uses the restroom or a shower, you're doing a search after that, because it's amazing the amount of times that an inmate will leave a note or something under the toilet seat or whatever, or in a toilet paper roll, or in the back of a toilet paper holder. And you'll see an inmate right after that inmate goes to the bathroom. Hey, I need to use the bathroom, and goes over there, or uses the bathroom over there, even if they don't have permission, because depending on the agency, the rules are different. But they get a lot of contraband passed, through those common areas.
always keep check on the common areas, only because that's where they like to hide stuff a lot of times.
Yep, we do.
And right now, we just finished up our morning cleanup. We gathered our laundry and everything. Next thing is, and we'll go around, do another security check, make sure.
So even though he saw that offender was there sleeping with a sheet over him, the reason why he went over to his head to look at him is because you have to have a visual that he was actually breathing. And so that's one of the things we have to look at, is you have to either see the chest rising and falling, or you have to see out of his mouth that he's breathing. That's one of the things we have to look for.
Still got 89 people in house. Going to secure my gates, and then you'll see me throughout the day. I'm going to continue doing.
And it's unbelievable that one officer has to look over 89 offenders. That's insane. There is no reason that kind of lack of safety happens. That should never happen. 1 for 89, that's ridiculous.
Security checks, because that's what we do here. We manage by walking around. Okay, upper tier. It is now 9 o'clock. You have the first rec of the morning. Same things apply as my briefing.
So you can see over here, that shower curtain is pulled. There's a shower going on right now. They've already gotten showers going. It's 9 a.m. They're going to 9 a.m. rec. That's pretty early. It's amazing how different agencies have different schedules, and just 9 a.m. rec, that seems really early, but hey, it works for them. So
this morning.
And just so I can add, I mean, a lot of people watch too many movies about jail or prison to where inmates are sexually assaulted by other inmates. It doesn't happen. I mean, it is so rare. It very, very rarely happens. There are so many precautions taken to where it just doesn't happen. In my 5 years of experience, I've never seen it, never heard of it. There's never been a PREA complaint ever at any of the facilities that I work at, because there's so many precautions taken to where it just can't happen. Maybe has it happened to where we weren't aware of it? Maybe. But the way we structure everything, the way we move the different pods and the different tiers, and the way we do showers, it's so structured to where there's just no opportunity to do that. There's not. I don't know. But maybe in some facilities it's a regular thing, but I've never seen it.
At no time will we cross my yellow line right there. If you need me, I'll acknowledge you, and then I'll come to you. 2.
Yeah, don't cross that yellow, red line, whatever line that they use on the staff station. Don't fucking do it, because you'll be on lockdown for 3-4 days, because just don't do it, because that closing distance between that line and the staff station is so fast. You're talking half a second in some instances. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Before we come out, all property must be in your gray bins. It must be in your gray bins before you come out. Beds must be made up neatly.
Yep, and we use the gray bins or different plastic bins instead of foot lockers like you would see in the military or something like that. Because if they're going to use that as a weapon, you'd rather they get hit with something that's rubber or plastic instead of something that's wood with metal attached to it. Of course, anything that's metal, we want to try to take out of the correctional settings, because they can use it in so many bad ways. Everything has to be, it's all about order, right? And so a lot of inmates, they appreciate structure, making your bed, doing the little things that they don't do on the outside. It's, they do respond to that. Lots of times little things like that can turn into big things, but generally they appreciate that and they go for it. I can't tell you the amount of times where they came out for showers and they said, "Hey, Jake, I'm coming out for shower. My bed's not made. Do I need to make it real quick?" And if I'm in a hurry, I'll just say, "I don't give a fuck about your bed. Take a shower real quick. You're still going to get all your points," because at our facility, a couple of facilities I've been at, we were going to point system to where they level up and do this kind of stuff. But, it's, they take notice of that.
Again, we'll go over. There'll be no fighting, no horseplay, no rough play, none of that. Rules are right over there on the wall.
Yeah, at my agency, there's no physical contact at all. So let's say they're in rec time. There's no one-on-one basketball. There's no 2-on-2 basketball. There's anything like that. It's knockout. Yeah, it's around the world. Anything like that. They can't even have direct, chest to chest passes. It's all bounce passes. Anything like that, we cut that shit right at the knees. You're not going to have any physical contact at all. If you have physical contact, boom, you're done.
And if you can't read the rules, just get me and I will be more than happy to go over the rules with you. Right now we're doing med pass.
Yeah, that happens regularly. So we get a lot of people into the jail that can't read or write. Lots of times they're embarrassed to say that, to tell us that. And we tell them, hey, don't be embarrassed about it. If you can't read or write, just let me know. I'll read the rules to you. And if you have any questions about the rules because you can't read the book over and over and over, we're telling you it to you once, ask us about it. It's nothing to be ashamed about that you can't read or write. Not everybody came from the same socioeconomic status of everybody else. And, everybody has their own stories. If you can't read or write, let us know. We will take extra precautions to make sure that you know the rules and everything else. And everybody has their own mental levels that they deal with.
For Bravo unit right here, what's going to happen is I'm going to call out 3 cubes at a time. They're going to come up here, get their meds.
So here he's doing meds. He's passing out meds, which we all do. So in my facility, we float all the meds to keep them from cheeking them. Is it 100%, successful? No. So what is floating meds? So you would give them, let's say this was a small styrofoam cup. You'd fill it with water. Let's say they had 3 pills. You put it on top of the water. They float, and they have to drink the water with the pills. And they would have to swallow them. And there's still, you do the check, the tongue up, open the mouth and everything. It's cut down from different statistics that we have seen, anywhere from 90 to 95% of cheeking or tonguing different medications. But we float all medications that we can, and it greatly cuts down on that.
And we're going to verify it. Me and the nurse, we're going to verify it with the booking sheets and with the rosters. Make sure the right person's getting the right meds. We're also going to make sure that they take the meds. Ensure it by checking mouths, tongues, make them lift up. Make sure they lift up their tongue so we can verify that they did take the meds and they're trying not to hoard it. Right now we got the food cart in post. You're about to see this is how we feed through the day. Our runarounds are our guys that's going to be feeding. What they're going to do is when the person comes by, they're going to grab a tray. I'm going to be standing right beside of it right there, observing, making sure everything's on the tray so nobody tries to get doubles or whatnot.
Yep, which happens all the time. So the one thing that inmates always complain about is food, that they didn't get enough, and everything. And so that they will look at any opportunity to get, whether it's a gambling or whatever else, to get somebody else's food, somebody else's entree, or to say that they didn't get a piece of cake like everybody else did. So that's really important to have an officer there. I really am glad that he brought this up, that he is there observing that every tray has everything on it. So that way an inmate can't say, hey, my honey bun wasn't on here. My piece of cake wasn't on here. I was shorted this. I was shorted that, because it's something that's always tried and it's ridiculous. Almost 1 million meals and inmates in 2000.
This is a lunchtime tray.
That's a ton.
For today, if you notice, it's got the bread and everything, the meat under there, the cheese, the cookies, the chips, the condiments and everything like that. And like I said, everything does meet the standards with the nutrition and everything. Okay, at this time, since I just got done with the inmates and whatnot, now usually whenever you work a post, you have to eat on the run. So usually what I like to do is bring fruit, vegetables.
Yep, good luck in corrections having an actual lunch or dinner time. I mean, you're supposed to have one in theory, but that usually doesn't happen. So you're eating on the go. So what I do on the 12-hour shift is I eat a good meal before I go in and right after I'm out. And then during the shift, what I do is I snack throughout. So I'll have a small bag of chips, maybe a bag of nuts. I'll have an energy drink, but I'll just kind of snack throughout that 12 hours. And then at the end of the 12 hours before I go home and go to bed, I'll actually get a decent meal before I go to bed. But yeah, when you're on a 12-hour shift, you're so busy throughout the shift. I mean, we get kind of a rap to where it's like, oh, we're just door openers, this and that. No, you're doing cell checks all the time. Depending on the agency, every 15, 20, or 30 minutes. You're having to do lunches. You're having to do laundry. You're having to observe them doing chores. You're having to do rec time. You're having to do different movements for visitations, for phone calls. I mean, it's busy just all the time. It's nonstop. So you don't have time to eat a lunch or dinner. And so you go in there with just kind of different things that you can do to munch throughout the 12 hours just to get through it, because the breaks that you're supposed to get, you don't get. You're just not going to get them.
And you see energy drink and apple slice is going to be my lunch today. At this time, what we're going to do is we're going to conduct a shakedown. That means we're going to be looking for any contraband that the inmate has. Contraband is anything that's prohibited for the inmate to have, i.e. any kind of weapon, any excess of extra sheets, blankets, or anything that's not permitted by medical. Okay, at 4 o'clock, that's the last lockdown in the pod today. What we're waiting on now is for our dinner food cart. And once that comes, we're going to serve dinner to them. Then the runaround is going to start a night cleanup. They're going to clean up before the other shift takes over and make it look good for them. Okay, right now we're about to feed dinner. Same thing as we did with lunch.
So this is kind of a dormitory type setup. It's not a traditional dormitory setup. It's not. They have a pod in subdivisions. As far as I'm looking at, this is one big pod. So you have subdivision 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so you have these different little micro pods within a big pod. It's just a kind of weird setup. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but it's really weird. It's just, look how outnumbered this one guy is. I mean, if shit popped off, this guy's fucked. And the bad thing is he could only wait 30 seconds until, backup arrived. But 30 seconds in a fight, when you're dealing with one or more inmates, it seems like about 5 minutes. It's nuts. I just kind of gives me the cringe factor. So far, this correctional officer, he's doing a great job. He's doing a fine job. He's taking command of this entire pod. He's doing a great job.
I'll get these guys up, lined up, and get them ready so we can finish up the day strong. Relieving Officer Tooley right here. I'm going to brief him on the events that happened today. We'll pass on all the events that happened today so far. All I had was one loss of rec due to having an extra sheet, Mr. Lee, and number 4 right there. Other than that, it was a pretty sweet day. Okay.
I love his duty bag here. So usually, and I'm not trying to get in the weeds because I want to get this video over. But usually in a duty bag like this, you're going to have extra stuff. So you're going to have extra socks, duty pants, a duty shirt, stuff like that. So that way, if you have urine or feces or vomit or anything else on you, you can shower out and that you can go ahead and change clothes. You're also going to have stuff in there that you need. I'm not going to get into all the details, but you're going to have all your extras in there that you may need, extra snacks too, just stuff like that. Just any unforeseeable things that you may need. But we actually have lockers for all that, but you don't have time when you're running a pod like that to go back to the staff area, to go to your locker, to do all that. You need to have all your stuff there in a duty bag, in your pod, or in whatever area you're working at, in case you need it. So.
As you can see, it was a pretty good day in the pod. There were no major incidents. So that's always a good day. Every day that we get to go home unharmed, great day. And the good thing about it is I get to get up and at 5:30, I'll be here to do it again tomorrow.
So overall, let me get back to it here. Overall, the officer was squared away, did a great job. No complaints here. Just other than the fact that there was understaffing and an overpopulation, but that they can't do anything about that. But he did a great job. Again, no complaints, but it was interesting. Did a great job. But anyways, that's my review. I'll have much more coming here in the future. Like, share, subscribe to all that stuff. And like that officer said, at the end of the day, there was nothing major that happened. He gets to go home safe, which doesn't happen all the time. But love y'all. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Talk to you in the next one. Bye.